Another word of advice for the old fridges like this, if this is hard to turn, you pull your light off, and this bit here, out of counter, just pushes in, it comes off. And this just pulls straight off. You might see a bit of surface rust on the front of your thermostat. There's like a little can that pushes the spring in that controls the thermostat itself, so you might have to lubricate this assembly. I've actually done this with some silicone spray, because silicone spray also aids in protection against rust and helps get the moisture off it. So yeah, it's pretty easy to turn now. This is only used on the 2 or 3 setting, so it's pretty efficient. Doesn't have to work too hard. So yeah, I get the torch, and that backing plate's probably where they push the evaporator in when they assembled the fridge. So yeah, I'll get there, sort of read the details on the compressor. I'll find where I put the light. There it is. Light on this hangs like shit bucket. Yeah, Bustic brand, tile adhesive. Pretty good trade name for something like that. So yeah, it says warning, only relay KA35621 may be used with this compressor, which is a starting relay in that little cover. That's where it wires up. It's a Baker Light junction box. So yeah, there's your recharge valve. What they do, they just clean the pipe area where they're going to screw it on. Do this hole up. This Allen key's done up first, then that one, then that one. Then the last one I do is that middle one, and that pushes a little connection in this valve. It's like a little, like a punch with a hammer type thing that screws in. And that bites into the pipe and they screw it in. And this is done extremely tight to seal. Yeah, and that's screwed in, puts a hole in it, and enables this valve to get access to charge it up. So yeah, always make sure that's tight, because if that's loose or it's not if it's missing, they'll always leak. And I think this actual filter dryer may have even been replaced. They usually do when they recharge them because they get crap in them. So yeah, it's all been pretty well looked after, this fridge. They've done a good job. Doesn't say what the date is, but KMP, and the flow arrow goes down that way. If you want to rattle it, you hear there's stuff in there. There's like beads of absorbent. Absorbs the excess liquid and stuff like that. Hence the name filter dryer. 65025 MP39. I don't know if that's a service number or what. But yeah, as you can see, this compressor pushes up through this small line, which this is the outlet line, which is probably on. Yeah. This compressor has heaps of lines on it, but they're all copper too. Not much metal on this one. There's a date there, 1970 compressor, S88. So there you go, the 9th month or 9th week, 1970. I assume that's a date code, but I'm not too sure. A lot of crap behind here, so yeah, there's the outlet. That's the outlet there, and that'll be the return to cool the oil in this compressor. The actual pump itself is at the bottom, and the fan is that little. These tops, the compressor pumps up a fan on them. The fan's up here, and the pump unit's at the bottom, and the oil's about up to here. The pump just kicks and makes a big mess, and has a little oil pump sticking off the bottom of it, and it pushes it up, and the fan not only helps it cool it, but makes a mess inside to keep everything submerged in oil, to keep the compressor lubricated. But yeah, there's that little label there. Something, I don't know, circumstances, something clawed by using this compressor. There's something all over that label, I can't read it. There's a bit of paint all over it. But yeah, there's that little fitting there. That fitting that the pipe comes out is actually made of steel. They will tend to rust, but other than that, that's probably their only drawback. They'll last forever. But yeah, that's got a nice good coat of paint in it, so that's what matters, it's protected. So the gas comes out of here, comes up here, makes its way up there. You know, it'll be hot when you feel it. This fridge does work good. Down there, makes its way down there, through that filter dryer. And that restriction in this little capillary line makes a whole idea, makes this compressor makes a whole, what do you call it, the whole idea of the compressor building up pressure logical. So as it builds up pressure, that restriction will just be pressurised and the compressor will stop to the thermostat, wherever the setting is on, and that will just keep flowing out there, seeping out that capillary tube, going back up through there, which is run along this line here going to the evaporator. Yeah, goes back up, that evaporates, it comes back down here, a warm gas. Back up to, there's a silver line there which goes up there, curls up, and that's the inlet of the compressor there. So yeah, so that filter dryer and that restriction makes a whole refrigeration and evaporation compressor building up pressure possible. So that's what that capillary line does. That restriction in the line makes the whole refrigerant body and the cooling and the compressor building up pressure and the evaporation possible. So yeah, it's all been done with silicone to protect water getting in. But yeah, the connections are all good. There's no obvious deterioration or any dangerous wiring, so it's all good. Fridge is in good condition. So yeah, safe to use. Nothing wrong with it. It's just used as a spare, so yeah. And yeah, we can see here, spider web's been sitting here for ages. Same with this fridge. Probably have it about this light length. It's probably about a foot, I'd say. Yeah, it's about a foot long from something like this. If it's a hot outside shed in this wall, say if this wall was facing the sun and a hot summer day, that compressor would probably be, yeah, that's how far that compressor would be away from this wall. So against this light, so that's a rough guide. Use a foot ruler. Further away the back of your fridge is from something hot, the better. Less hot the compressor will get, therefore the less damage it's going to do to the windings, less harder it's going to work. Better it will cool, less harder it will work, and the less power you're going to use. So yeah, it's a Camelot cable, made in Australia, so that company's gone. And yeah, dog's being played with. I got the bar fridge out of the way. It's got the old Cable Makers Australia brand coordinate, when I used to make them in Australia. A data plate, serial 9/71. So I'd say it's made in 1971. 110 watts, 0.8 amps, 50 cycles per second, in other words 50 hertz, 200 to 240 volts, electricity cookers limited. And this is what was cut out. So they just push this compressor assembly straight in, push the evaporator in, it sealed it up, screwed it all down, that's it. Then installed the thermostat and run the wire through there. Pretty simple how they made this. But yeah, there's a compressor. I'll sticky tape the label back on because I nearly fell off. Same thing on the compressor, refrigerant R12, 71 grams, high side pressure, 275 pounds per square inch, low side, 150 pounds per square inch, 8.8 amps, it's a pretty efficient little compressor for its age. Cycles, 50 cycles per second, in other words 50 hertz, made in England, AC only, which is obvious. It doesn't tell you that in watts, so which 110 watts, it's not hard to work out anyway. There's your starting device behind there, and that cord is, yeah, it's not tight, it's just a bit of slack on it, but yeah, that goes to your thermostat. You got a little capillary tube that goes up in there, right up in there, your little filter dryer. Nice spring around it to protect it. When I've soldered this, and they've got like a spring around that pipe to protect it, so it's good. So yeah, no rattling, so the compressor won't have to be bumped around as much for it to rattle and knock about, so it's got good suspension in there. And there's where I charged it from. That'd be the outlet pressure, the small tube. This is the inlet, goes back into the compressor. So yeah, pumps out through there, comes back down, through there, builds up pressure, shoots up this big tube so the gas can have a chance to expand and evaporate. Then cool and take the heat out, and then comes back out, yeah, into the compressor. There's another, yeah, there's the outlet pipe. So yeah, it goes up in there, yeah, it comes back out in there. So yeah, pretty simple how it works. Here's this compressor, General Electric. The hunk of spider webs behind it. There's the old picky 45 degree angle, whatever they call those plugs. So when you smell them, you smell the old insulation through it. This is a Camelot cable, which no longer exists, that company. It says it's 250 volt. It doesn't say what the cord's rated for, but I'd say they're about 5 amps. So it doesn't really use that much power all at once when they put 7.5 or 10 amp cords on newer fridges. So yeah, there's a little recharge valve on there. I forgot what they called them, but I'll remember after the video. Usually will. So yeah, as you can see, it's been recharged. It's got that valve on there. There's a compressor, and you get that little filter dryer. So yeah, I'll probably bring this fridge out. This fridge has just got some 8mm bolts as legs. Because it doesn't have any proper legs. They would have snapped off during its life being moved around, so I'll be very careful to move this.